So welcome to the Progress Over Perfection podcast, where we sit down with CEOs, managing directors and entrepreneurs to uncover the real stories behind building a business. Not just the wins, but the challenges, failures and lessons that shape the journey. Today, I'm joined by Danny Simpson, the CEO of Mid Digital Solutions, and we're going to dive into their journey, the lessons they've learned along the way, and the reality of what it takes to build and lead a successful business. So Danny, CEO of Mid Digital Solutions, Managing Director of Sales Geek, Chairman Pro Manchester, several non-exec director positions, including Cash for Kids supporting the national board, as well as obviously what you do in Manchester, which I'm aware of. Yeah. You sound a busy man.
Very busy. Yeah, I do.
Very busy. I want to go back to when I first knew you initially, which was way back in 2013, 2014. But initially, you started Mid Communications in 2009. 16 sites, 170 employees, biggest O2 franchise in the Northwest.
Done your homework.
Well and truly done my homework, mate.
Better enjoy that.
How did you get there first? Because obviously that was kind of what I can see as your first big role.
Okay, interesting. I don't quite know how still ever got to that. I guess hard work, great people, and a lot of other things. But I think first of all, just thank you for having me on.
No worries, it's a pleasure.
And hopefully I can do the listeners justice.
Yep.
And give them some interest. I guess I've been in telco since I was 21, so I'm 44 now, so that's 23 years. And I started at 21 as a sales advisor on the shop floor.
Okay.
I've seen 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, and I've seen 6G launch.
Didn't even know there was 2G.
I've seen them all. I was here to bring the iPhone to the UK, so I've been really privileged in my mobile communications career.
Yeah.
But I guess I just started as a sales advisor on the shop floor at Phones for You. I was there for 3 years, and then within 6 months I was promoted to sales manager at Market Street. Market Street I moved to store manager, and then I moved to the store manager of Arndale. Then I was headhunted by Three when they were coming out of Superdrugs and they were opening the standalone stores. So I was part of a multi-site management piece there, so I was manager of Oldham, and I managed the standalone store plus the store in the Superdrug.
All right, okay.
And then just realistically started to understand what I was doing differently, which was, I guess, really starting to build good people, bring good teams in. And because we took Oldham, and Oldham's not a busy shopping centre, it wasn't a busy place, but we took Oldham to be the 5th busiest and most profitable store within 3.
Wow, okay.
Which then allowed me to go down and access. 3 were a great business to work for. They had an amazing culture. I think, largely speaking, they still do today. And I really enjoyed my time at both. I think Phones for You was a lot more, should we say, not ruthless, but relentless sales methodology. And I think when I worked at 3, the culture was very different. And that gave me access to, I was invited down to London then to sit with the retail director. They would invite the top 10 store managers down and start to look at, what they can learn from them and what they can do differently. Okay. So that got me some really good access with Mark Alira and the rest of the gang down there, which Mark Alira went on to be chief exec of EE. Yep. And then from there, buddy, I kind of went for an area manager. From an area manager, I went for a divisional role. And I think it was a kind way of saying, because I was 28, when you're in your 20s, you think you're invincible. Your ego's very much in play. And I'd had a very fast, accelerated career, and I applied for a divisional role. And the feedback I got was, I just needed to keep working on letting my management style mature. All right, okay. Which I took as, whether rightly or wrongly,
personal at the time.
Not too personal, but I think took it as, am I too young? Is that their way of saying I'm too young to do the job? I was definitely the youngest area manager on the business when I took over as area manager at 27. I was one of the youngest area managers they've ever had. They'd probably beat that record now. Yeah. But then a friend of mine came to me who used to recruit for me at 3. He'd moved out of Michael Page and set himself up, a guy called Gilbert, and he rang me up. He said, look, Danny, I've got a really great job for you. He said, I know you're going through a process with Vodafone, because my belief was if they're not giving me the opportunity, I'll move somewhere else. I'll just keep moving.
Yeah, 100%.
I was just going up the ladder.
Yeah.
And he said, but the thing is there's 2 guys, they've got a couple of stores, they're not quite sure what they're doing. He said, it's a bit of a tricky business. He said, but go and have a chat with them, because I think you could help them out. Anyway, when I went and had the interview, Dean, it turned out there were 2 really nice brothers that got the business. They'd got a couple of stores across Manchester, and they were in a position where they were paying wages on credit cards. Oof. And the business wasn't in a great position, so they needed a turnaround. Yep. And they were also talking to somebody about selling the business. Right, very fortunate that the person they were trying to sell to gave them a pretty rubbish price. Yep. and they decided to go through the recruitment process. If you ask them, they'd say I was the only one in the process, but I know it was a bit of fun.
Okay.
And I took the role in 2009.
Yep.
And then within kind of 6 to 9 months, again bringing great people in, we turned the business around and paid the debt off.
So how long did it take you to get to those 16 sites? Because that's massive.
Probably 10 years. Well, less than 10 years. So we bought.
Right.
Our biggest transaction was in 2016. We did a £4.5 million transaction, which nearly doubled our business.
Right. Okay.
And that was in 2016. So what's that? That's 7 years. And then that took us to 15 stores. We bought 6 stores. We were at 9.
All right. Okay.
So we nearly doubled our business.
Yeah,
and we went from 11 million turnover to pretty much knocking on the door of 20 overnight.
Jeez. Right. Okay.
So that was a big change for me. And I think having a couple of smaller acquisitions in there beforehand was useful, because there were 44 franchisees at the time when I started, and at the end there was 13.
Right,
so it was almost like a fight of the fittest. And I was very specific. I'm a Manchester lad. I was born in Rochdale. I love Manchester. Yep. I think it's the proper capital of the country.
100%.
I know Southerners watching this or listening might disagree, but if you was in my shoes as a Northerner, you'd say that. Because I've watched Manchester become what it is today. It's an amazing city. It gives so much. It can look intimidating to some.
Yep.
And as a young lad growing up in Rochdale, probably lower middle class family, but mum and dad worked hard. So I think from my perspective, I didn't really get into Manchester very much.
Right. Okay.
But I'm grateful for the opportunities that this city and the surrounding regions have given me, which is why I wanted to make sure we focused on building our business here. Where other franchisees were buying stores all over the place. Yep. Some, a guy in London bought some stores around London, and then bought some up in Newcastle.
Right. Okay.
And I thought, for me to build my level of version of success, I want to give opportunities to local people in Manchester, and I want to really expand around my home city. So we did, and I made the business build out the 16 stores across the northwest, which was mainly predominantly around Manchester, Cheshire, and Liverpool.
Right. Okay. So obviously, you mentioned there before starting that, obviously you went through the ranks at other phone companies,
absolutely,
being phones for you as well.
Yeah.
What was the moment you realised that you wanted to build or lead a business?
I never really thought about it very much, if I'm being completely honest with you, pal. I guess that's where you...
So obviously when I first met you when you was at Mid Communications, I get mixed up now because you've got both. Yeah. Mid Communications, I was like, wow, Danny's a fucking massive businessman. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I never saw it as that. I just saw myself doing my thing, staying in my lane. And just
I was still new to business at that time, back in 2013, 2014 when we first met. And I was like, wow, this guy's like the dog's bollocks.
Thank you. No, absolutely
I saw you as that, leading that O2 franchise.
I think, part of my journey is I'm grateful for, and I'm sure we'll come on to it later on, but I've got a couple of great mentors that I'm very grateful for, that along with some personal things with my wife being a great mentor, my kids being great mentors to me, I think we can learn a lot from children and being a parent, and we can learn a lot from our partners. I think I was very grateful for having two great mentors in business. I don't think I would have been half the person I am and still the person I'm yet to become if it wasn't for them great people around you sharpening you and 100%. Being honest with you and telling you where you need to get to. So, when you put your ego to one side, I knew that very quickly you start to do different things. So I guess I wanted to serve people, because in the mobile game, it's all the same, right? The shops look a different colour, right? You go into O2, EE, Vodafone.
It's all the same phones on the shelf,
everything's the same, right? They're all selling minutes, text, and unlimited minutes, text, and data. They've probably maybe got varied signal capacity, but largely now in today's world, the majority is it's pretty samey. So it's what stood out. And how do we differentiate ourselves? So I've always had that view, and the way that I can always differentiate ourselves is nobody can ever copy the DNA of how we do and how we serve. And I always had this belief of delivering, a really great service. So my motto has always been, sell to everybody like we'd sell to your mum, your dad, your brother, your sister, your best friend.
Okay.
And it's being really respectful and courteous from the minute somebody comes into the store. Manners, politeness, and then
that first impression.
Bringing that sales process together, right? Because O2's blue, EE's green, Vodafone's red. They're all the same shops, right? So I believe that would be first of all, our model of success. And that's one of the things I got. In fact, our first sales process when I started Mid was, make a friend in 30 seconds, gain a customer for life. And it was about how do we build rapport with somebody, because it becomes very transactional.
Yeah, I say it like clients will become friends before friends will become clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very much.
There's some belief in that.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. I wanted to sort the team out, get the culture right. I think for me, culture's is really super important to me. Culture is the number one thing that I start with. I've always believed that, you can have a great product, whatever that might be. It might be an iPhone, Apple, whatever. Think about an amazing product. But I think if you've got a pretty poor culture and poor team, you're going to have a pretty average or poor business. But you can have a pretty average product, but with an amazing team and a great culture, you'll have a wicked business.
100%.
And it's also somewhere fun to go and work as well. So that was what I wanted to do, which was, create our own sales identity, have a really great sales process, which was customer experience led, building emotional connections based on trust, and getting to know our customers a little bit more rather than just trying to sell them something. I think anybody can sell a mobile phone in the shop because the customer walks in. They're not walking in for fish and chips.
No, exactly.
Here's a phone, here's a SIM card. This is how much it is a month. Probably offer some discounts, probably, because that's the only way sometimes
free
people
phone
sell.
case.
Throw some stuff in and away they go. See you later, see you in 3 years when you come back. Hopefully, if you come back for an upgrade. Right? Whereas we got to the position where I love starting to get into stats and stuff, and we were at a position once. I think our best year was 86% of our customers returned to the originating store 2 years later to do an upgrade.
Wow, okay.
And they would remember people. Part of the process is that when you came into the store, we would want to make sure that you knew my name. Not just on a name badge, right? We would introduce ourselves.
I dealt with Laura last time. I want to deal with her again.
Absolutely. So you remember it, and you'd send people to me, not that guy in O2 or that girl in O2. Or go and see Tom in O2 Middleton. He's really brilliant. Or go and see James in X store.
Dave were brilliant.
Go and see Sarah in Y store. And it became really personal for me because that's what's going to differentiate ourselves. So we started to, I guess, build the business out, and then you start to focus on culture, and then you start to realise as a leader, I'm going to potentially, if I don't build it out differently, and start to bring people in that's better than me at stuff, I'm going to bottleneck the business because all the decisions sit with me. Everyone starts to ask me. So then I moved into a position of, let's coach our managers in our stores and treat it like they're the owners of them stores, create like 16 entrepreneurs.
That's very much where we were 12 months ago. Everything was bottlenecking through myself. So we kind of had to make sure the staff had more knowledge in different areas.
Correct.
Because otherwise, like you said, it all comes to you and you can't please everyone and you can't get through the tasks fast enough.
No, you can't, mate. So I think we learn from there, bringing great people in, bringing people in better than me. So from my perspective, I think that there's all these little golden nuggets that I think you've got to make a lot of mistakes. I could probably write you an encyclopedia on my mistakes.
I think we come on to mistakes for everyone.
I could probably get my my successes on one piece of a mobile screen. So I think that for me is where we went, and then we just took it off. We built the group out. We expanded into different regions, did different things, and Mid Digital was born in 21. We had My Ideal Destination in 2019. We invested in some property, and we just started building things out. And then before you know it, you sort of get thrust into different scenarios. And I loved going out and ambassador in the business. I think as a great CEO or MD, part of your role is going out and
being the
building
face,
reputation and being the face of the business. Right? People often say, if you say Apple, you think Steve Jobs. Unfortunately, you still won't say it's Tim Cook, right? But you'd say Steve Jobs. Microsoft, Bill Gates, and so on. Tesla, Elon Musk, right? So there's lots of these commonalities.
100%.
So I wanted to try and be that person because I never wanted to hide behind, even though we were a franchise and we had a great logo of O2 of our store, I'm not in control of that brand.
No.
And O2's had some very different leaders. I think, the best times it ever had was a guy called Ronan Dunn, who I met a couple of times, became a little bit acquainted with. Really fantastic, genuine, authentic guy. What a great leader. And I think when O2 was at its best, he was at the helm.
He was at the helm.
Oh, massive. What a guy. And hopefully if anybody listening that was at telecom that would work for Ronan would vouch for that. And I think everything else then started to change. So I knew that we had a great brand over the door. That's the reason why you're in franchise, right? That you've got this brand.
100%.
But I knew that I'm not in control of that brand to some degree. So I needed to build out. And actually, when I was employing people, it became really weird, Dean, right? Because they'd go for
I always used to be like Danny from O2.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
But you'd employ somebody and you'd put a job advert out for the O2 store in Middleton. And then they'd go, what do you mean O2? I'm not working for O2. What do you mean I'm not going to get paid off O2? And they didn't know who we were as a brand. And at the beginning, the business was actually called Mid Properties Retail Limited.
All right,
so in 2010, 2011, I did a brand rechange. And actually, people have always said, what does the MID stand for? The truth is, it stands for Murray, Ian and Drew were my business partners, Ian and Drew Murray.
Okay.
And they didn't want to be called dim communications, right? Right? So
I love it.
they changed it to mid. Now, if you ask them now,
Yeah.
they would say to you, because my business partner should have been in marketing, honestly, he's brilliant. He said, no, it stands for Murray's including Danny. So
Right,
it's a really nice spin. So we changed it, and that's when mid communication was born. I said, look, it's really confusing because people are getting the pay slips and coming to work for a company called Mid Properties Retail.
Yeah.
We aren't in property, we're in mobile.
Yeah, yeah.
And it just doesn't sync up. So that's when Mid Communications was formed properly, if you like, in back end of 2010, 2011.
So it actually looked like a communications company that was paying them.
Absolutely.
And looking for.
Just started to go out. And what helped was because we did a big acquisition with HSBC, who were great for us at the time. They kind of said, look, Danny, we've lent a local lad a lot of money here.
Yeah.
Would you go out and do some speaking for us about how you've done this? And
right, okay.
I became the poster boy, if you like.
Yeah,
and I was never one for going out and public speaking, So the first time I did
now, total opposite.
I'm a bit more confident.
I feel like you're the poster boy for a lot of things.
Well, that's part of the story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pick your
100%.
pick your journeys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think from my perspective, it's really interesting because what became apparent was going out and public speaking, you start to become, and I didn't know I was going to be any good at it, right, or have any impact. I just thought, well, it's pretty boring. Who wants to listen to the story of a Rochdale lad?
Yeah. No, I get it.
Who's just pretty much worked hard. And I'd not really thought about what I'd actually done. I just kept pushing myself and building the team and pushing the team, really.
Yeah.
And I think my team would probably describe me as quite relentless and driven. I
agree.
I think they would, but that brings the best out of them, right? Because
100%.
my job was to put myself out of a job.
Yeah.
So by building them to run me, to help run the business, and almost put myself out of the position.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that got
they
me
need to be able to run it, don't they? Without
absolutely.
you there on a day to day.
100%, because again, you become the bottleneck otherwise. And I think you cap your growth.
Yeah.
And I think from my perspective, that allowed me to go out and then you start speaking and then people start, you start getting into different rooms, and before you know it, you get other opportunities come along, and that's where Cash for Kids was born, and that was the first proper non-exec role. And I guess from there I've took up a couple of non-exec roles, and then unfortunately, not through choice, it was a successful exit, but I ended up selling Mid Communications back to Telefonica in 2024. That was they made the decision that they wanted to take all the franchise estate back when they merged with Virgin Media.
Yeah. So
over a 2-year period, we had to almost transition and sell our stores, and that for me was a really challenging part of my life, because it was 15 years I built it.
Mm-hmm.
My brand, it was my baby, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I guess the day it went and the day it finished, your WhatsApp goes quiet, your life goes a little bit quiet, and it feels like my purpose and identity went with the business that day.
Did you feel like you'd lost it a bit?
I just didn't know.
Because it was your baby, weren't it, that you grew?
I felt lost, even though we had Mid Digital and that was doing really well.
Yeah. And
I'd still had more than non-exec stuff. I thought
It's all you're known for so long.
Yeah, 100%. And I just thought, I needed to keep going out, because in my head I was scared that, in today's world, if you
don't want to get forgotten about.
if you're not present, you're done, aren't you?
Yeah.
Today's news is tomorrow's chip wrapper paper.
100%.
I've always thought. Right there, wrongly. So I just needed to keep going out, and you paint the veneer on, you put the mask on, and I was probably a version of myself from October 24 till probably some point in 2025, probably a different version of myself, really, that I didn't really know who I was going to come out the other side with.
Well, the mask worked, because I knew you then, and I didn't realise.
No one did.
No one does delay.
No, and that's the other side of being a leader,
isn't it?
When you build a business, it's. I think it's a lot of people today can look at business owners and think they're quite aspirational to have. They look, what you see on social media is not always true, but it's not as glamorous as some people think.
We get into that.
It's a hard place, and I've built many areas and safe areas for directors to sit in, because I think this chair we sit in is a lonely one. Yeah, 100%. And it's so you do have to, unfortunately, at some capacity, you have to get good at sort of putting a mask on, because you can be going through different things in business, but you can't walk into your business and sometimes feel that, because the business and the people vibe off you. Yeah. So if you walk in, and especially, I know if I walk in a bad mood, they feel it. You don't want that. It happens, but you don't want it. Of course. You know what I mean? When I'd like to think I'm quite a high energetic person, right? Yeah. Pretty really positive. Yeah. But there's some days that it takes me 15 minutes in the car before I go in the office, because I'm not in that right space. I'm just getting in that. It's like the dressing room before you go on stage. It's It's that scenario. So sometimes you've got to prepare yourself mentally to go in and what you're going to deal with for the day. And I've got to show up and be present for them staff, right? I think at our highest, we had 182 people on the payroll. Jeez. Our wage bill was something like £3.5 million a year. And that's a lot of responsibility, right? I'm paying a lot of mortgages and rent and lives and families. And
that's a lot of pressure.
100%. And I take that really real.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether, I'm not saying corporates don't, but I think corporates sometimes lose sight of the responsibilities of the people.
Especially the bigger ones.
They're just numbers on a spreadsheet to some people. And I'm not being disrespectful to them people. I just think that's, that's how they do it. That's how they are. But for me, I'd like to think I'm just a simple lad from Rochdale. Yep. And I've learned from great people.
You want to try and make everyone's life better as such.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to always improve things better than what it was when I found it. That's always been my remit. What's the Danny Simpson effect? Well, I'll definitely make it better than what it was when I started. I might make some things worse, but some things definitely, to improve stuff. So it's been an interesting roller coaster, and now I've got a portfolio of businesses, and I get to take my experience and add it into that portfolio. But also because of the portfolio, I get an advanced level of learning as well. Yeah, because for me, it's always two ways, and it's nice not to always sit in the chair. I can sit around the table. As a non-exec, you're part of. You're not the decision maker. I'm part of the decision. Which is nice. And that's nice to hear, because sometimes when you get in the chair, you have to create the environment where people feel they can challenge you. Because we have this perception of, we've got to sit around and say yes to our boss, right? Whereas actually, I wanted challenge. I wanted people to disagree with me, because that made me better and made us better.
I always said to them a lot, that I always say, there's one boss that's bigger than me, and that's a client, because if they're not spending money, we're all out of a job. Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what I mean? And it's like you said, everyone sees you as the ultimate boss, don't they, as such? But it's not like that.
No, definitely not.
What was your first real, this might actually work moment, especially more recently with mid-digital? Because obviously you went through that mid-comms.
I don't think that moment happens anymore. Do you not? No, I just think because I back myself.
Yeah, you know it's going to be.
And I back my people to do it. I know we're going to fail, and I know we sometimes have to take a step back to take 2 steps forward, right? Yeah. So that moment doesn't happen anymore. The moment actually happened for me was when I was 27 and became an area manager. That was the first probably disappointment of success. Because I thought, I'm going to be the youngest area manager in the business here, right? Okay, and I got the promotion and stuff. I was like, right, where's the band? Where's the congratulations, Danny, you've done it. The youngest area manager. And nothing happened. I didn't even get an email off my boss saying, congratulations. HR emailed me saying, the area is yours, blah, blah, blah. And
that was it.
I was like, and this is it.
Bit of an extra pay.
Jesus Christ, man. I've done all these things. I've worked hard, and this is all I get. An email off HR saying, you've got the job. Congratulations. Be pleased to make it a role that's permanent. Because I was doing the job anyways as a secondment. Okay. And they just made it permanent. So it was like, I was like, where's all the band? Where's the champagne thing? Where's
cannons.
where's the I was like, wow. So
I know what you mean.
Success was massively deflated. So I started to, I guess that was probably one of my first lessons, which is, probably keeping my expectations a little bit low. Yeah. Because then you don't get as disappointed.
It's like when you make a big announcement in it as a company owner, you want all that fanfare, and sometimes you don't get it, you think, I've worked all that. Yeah. And all I got was that. And it's
success is really...
It's hard.
It's defined
because everyone
very
sees the glory on social media, and it's not real. It's all staged.
And everyone's definition of success is different, right? To some people, it's work-life balance. To some people, it's money. Yeah. To some people, it's about my status. Where do I live? What my house size is? What car do I drive?
100%.
I guess sometimes we all go through different things. And man, woman, they respond differently, right? Yeah. Men have a massive ego. Women not so much. And I think they want something different. So everybody's version of success is very different. And I think it's how you tap into that and bring it all together of your people aligning with what the company's goal and vision is. Because that's what culture is, right? Culture is a little bit like, I don't think many people that are watching this, and definitely not for me and for you, Dean, would say, I'm still in the relationship with the first person I ever kissed at school. Yeah, so I don't think that happens, right? Yeah. So we probably experienced a few different relationships before we settled with our partner. Yeah. And that's not because they were a bad or good partner. They might have been, but what drives that is the relationship and the connections of different values of two people. 100%. And you just decide, look, this isn't for me. It's not you, it's me. Or whatever we do here. And we're just not clicking. Yeah. And that's the same in a business. I got to the point where I got really probably precious in 2010, 2011, thinking, we were winning, Dean, and I thought, why do people not want to join my team, man?
Yeah.
We don't want to come on board with a wicked team. And I then started to realise probably 2011,
yourself,
2012,
don't you?
2013, it's like I put even more pressure on myself because it's like when somebody doesn't make it in the business, it's my fault, not theirs. It's our fault. So we've got to be better at doing everything that we can. And I always think, as a leader, I run off 3 simple values, really, in terms of making decisions. Firm, fair and reasonable. I think you've got to be firm enough because, that's what parents need to be for kids, to give them a bit of discipline and guardrails. But I think you've also got to be fair and reasonable. Yeah. Because especially more so today in life, it's not as easy as... It's never been easy, but I think it gets harder as life goes on and more digital technology comes into play, brings more pressures and loneliness, isolation, mental health. Mm-hmm. So I think it's an interesting one.
I'm going to go on to like the reality of business.
Okay.
Now, we've covered a little bit of this already, but what would you say is something about running a business that people don't talk about enough? Now, we've covered it slightly in regards to, that mask.
Running a business, I guess what people don't share is probably many of the lows. Yeah. Because I think people see that as failure. Mm-hmm. Vulnerability, loneliness, the pressure.
Constant pressure, yeah. And like you said, it's not just payroll. You're paying someone's mortgage, rent, car, everything else, as well as everything else that comes with a business, aren't you?
I mean, I always wanted to be a responsible leader, right? I think when you first start a business, everyone is different at it. I think I was really lucky, again, through having my dad and a few good people around me. Yep. They were always like, don't get caught up on the company's finances. It's the company's money, it's not yours. Yeah. And I think sometimes when people set a business up, they see, well, that's my money. It's not your money, it's the company's money. You own the company, but the money belongs to the company. Right? Well, I'll just take it.
It's like when people go, oh, yeah, Dean, he's loaded. I'm not loaded. I wish I was. Do you know what I mean? The company's doing well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not loaded. People get that perception, don't they? They see everything again on social media.
Everything becomes a blur. And actually, I always made sure one of the first things we did is I was always a huge advocate for having reserve profits left back. Yep. So at the beginning, I think we were able to always make sure we had 2 or 3 months worth of cash in the business. If you've not got more money in, I can float the business. Yeah. And as we got bigger and bigger and bigger, that increased and we kept it to 6 months. And eventually it got to a point, there's a little bit of a silly story in here, but we got to a point where I always had £1 million in the bank.
Nice. 2
reasons why. 22-year-old Danny watched an interview with Piers Morgan and Sir Alan Sugar.
Of all people.
I know. And I remember watching it as a young lad. It might be before that, actually. And the interviews probably out there still to see. Yeah. And he said to Sir Alan Sugar, he said, so, Sir Alan, he said, what's real net worth? What's your position of that? Because you must have a few quid, right? Mm-hmm. I remember Alan Sugar saying to him, well, Piers, I could tell you now, there's a lot of wealthy people in the world, but there's not many people that can write you a cheque for £1 million and it'll cash tomorrow. He said, I can.
Wow, right, okay.
And I thought to myself, wow, that's a really cool place to be, right? But for the right reason. Yeah. And by default, I built myself to that position where I thought to myself, I've got £1 million in the bank, it floats the company for 6 months, and we could write a cheque and it would cash tomorrow, right? So I tick that 22-year-old going, I've said something that Alan Sugar said, right? Yeah. And you see him today and you probably think, oh my God, I've been in a position where he's been, right? One of the people that you aspire to look at. So it was a really great position to be in, but I think at the same time, you've got to, you're looking at the responsibilities really big. And there was a time where we made some different decisions, and you brought some people in, and we changed the business. Yep. And we got tough one point, but we always knew if there was £1 million in the bank, the business is doing all right. Yeah. But eventually we got to the point where there was like £250,000 in the bank. So I'm like, where's this money gone? And I was looking at it from a point of going, right, okay, I've got probably a month and a half.
An issue here now,
salary left, and then 180 people, or 171 at the time, I think it was, whatever, 170 odd, probably going to be out of a job. So I needed to find that cash, and I think I worked every hour that you could work in a week. I think I was probably sleeping 3 hours a day, 7 days, and over the course of 2 weeks, we discovered where the problem was, luckily, turned the ship around and got the money back. It was just money that we'd not claimed back from Telefonica and a few other bits. So we did get the money back, but that was a close
it's
call.
Little things like that, look, massive impact. Yeah.
So, and I get, look, some people might not care about that, right? But I cared about it.
You've got to sweat the small stuff, though, haven't you? Because that's what it is, basically. Yeah,
100%. And it was real to me, that, and it was eating me alive. And my wife was very worried about me and the situation at the time, and probably my own mental health wasn't great at the time, but the calling for what I needed to do was bigger than the cause. Yep. And I needed to fix it for them 170 odd people. I needed to make sure that they never knew. Yep. And they were gonna do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you do behind the scenes that people don't find out about. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And I had a good senior team there. Rob, who's still with me today, he's a great guy, and some of the other team, stayed over that weekend, and we went through every single. We have got a big training room, and we literally laid out every single piece of kit that comes into the business, every IMEI. We tracked it all the way through the business, and it was laid out across the floor. There's more paper. It's probably killed the rainforest there from what we've gone through, because things were as digital then. So, but we found out where the problems were, and by the end of it, we had a stack of paper that we could submit to O2 and say, I think you owe me quite a bit of cash here.
Yeah, that's a nice one, isn't it?
Yeah, they was like, yeah, you're right, we do. And they paid it back, which was good of them. But it would have been nicer if they told me that they owed me the money, Dean, rather than me having to find
exactly.
it out.
Yeah.
But never mind, it's lessons, and I think that for me is all of them challenging parts.
Yep.
When somebody asks me as a leader that's part of my team and I'm coaching them,
yep.
One of the most common questions that comes out, maybe in scenarios like this or maybe in coaching questions, is how do you build resilience? Yep. Can you help me build resilience? I think resilience and strength is built from tough times.
Yeah.
And unless you're in them, you can't learn from them.
No, 100%.
So
you only learn from the actual moment, and sometimes if something goes wrong, that's where you learn more. Yeah.
And you don't realise that you're taking lessons from it. But it's hard. You probably want the world to swallow you, or you want to give up and you want to quit.
Yeah.
But it's the moments that you want to quit that if you dig down and find that extra 1 or 2%
100%.
and get through it, you build so much further resilience in it. And I think in some degree, I'll say it quite controversially.
Go on.
I think sometimes it's difficult as a business owner and a leader that's been through all of that, when sometimes we'll listen to people on their career journey about what they find hard and tough and what they're allowing to overwhelm them too much.
Yep.
It's hard for us to empathise with it, because we've sort of we've been through that loads of times. Like, so and we forget we've got to stop and go, how can I help that person through it?
Yeah.
Not
because I've been there and I know. Yeah.
And to some person, their trauma in your early 20s, it might be that my dog's just died.
Yeah.
And some people could sit there and go, Jesus,
yeah.
Really, is that how they're reacting to the dog dying? I know it's bad and sad, but it's just because it's the trauma that sits on the other side. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 100%, yeah.
And that's definitely the same today. I think when you look at today, there's the most generations that's ever been in the workforce is there today.
Right, okay.
We're now in a world of, we have got the most intergenerational challenge and social challenge in business than we've ever had. And I don't think...
In regards to different generations working together?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And I don't believe that the challenge is based upon effort. I think what we judge people on and what we judge in the younger generations with, or what we get guilty of sometimes, is it's the experiences that difference.
Yeah.
So my mum and dad, I was a first edition millennial, Dean, 1981 born, so the first edition millennial.
Yeah.
And my mum and dad would have thought I was nuts. What are you doing? Get a job, be safe, right?
Yeah.
And back when I was younger, and not too many years ago, if you had 10 years of career experience on your CV, well, you were golden, right? If you were, look at this guy here, look at this girl here, they've got four jobs in 5 years, they're a job hopper, what's wrong with them? That's what you'd have said then. Mm-hmm. Today, you've got 10 years on a CV, you're going, that's rubbish, isn't it? Playing it safe, no challenge.
Yeah.
What a safe person, not interested in that. Look at this person here, 4 jobs in 5 years, that's the person for me. And that's what we do today.
It's weird, doing it. Yeah.
Flipped on its head, right? Yeah. So I think the next generation are getting a tough time because, in some degree, and they don't deserve to get a tough time, it's just we don't understand it enough.
Yeah, 100%.
It's our experiences of our life that are allowing us to judge on theirs. And actually, my son's 21 and I've learned so much. Like I said to you before, leadership for me has been taught by everything in terms of being a parent. But I look at my son and I think to myself, he can absolutely get to the same goal that I can get to.
Yep.
He just gets there differently.
Yeah.
My opinion on that sometimes might be very different.
Yeah.
But who's the right one? Who's the wrong one? Right?
Yeah.
He might be working smarter and I might be working harder.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
What's the right answer? What's the wrong answer? There's not really one. As long as you get into the destination and getting to the goal to the destination, right? There's loads of different ways to skin the cat. So for
100%.
me, it's, and I have to learn that the generations above me, like my mum and dad and the boomers, they were born with radio, TV, PC, internet, and the digital era.
Obviously, you're 81, I'm 85.
Yeah.
Yeah. We grew up without the internet and with it. Yeah. So it's weird, isn't it?
And we've had, so the millennials, I think, and our age generation, have had technology come into it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think my son's age, they've been born with technology. So they don't know any different.
Yeah.
So they're going to be super smart.
Yeah,
right?
Jacob's doing like coding that I don't even get. Like, and he's 9, nearly 10. And I'm like...
And that's the power of learning how to reverse mentor, right? But what we don't do is we don't ask questions and seek to understand from the next generation.
Yeah.
how can they teach me, right? Because what they can teach me is how to get to the goal better.
100%.
What I can teach them is experience.
Yeah.
I think when you bring them two together, it's amazing. And it's really tough for them, right? I think a piece of research was that 50% of millennials and Generation Zs have all got a side hustle. So, that means that they can't, when they get called woke or all these different...
Snowflake.
Oh, yeah. I think to myself, how can they be?
Yeah.
Because they've got multiple different things going,
But question on that one then. Like they all have these little side hustles.
Yeah.
Have they got that drive? I don't feel like they have some on the side hustles to make it a success.
I think what happens is they get too waylaid on too many things.
Yeah.
And they start to spread themselves really thin. And definitely from my experience is, keep the main thing.
Yeah.
Right? Laser focus on 2 or 3 things.
Yeah.
And go and do them brilliantly well. Otherwise, that's where the saying comes from.
Yeah,
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, keeping yourself really laser focused on what you want to be, because we can all have lots of distractions. I call it the magpie effect.
Yep.
Something shiny over there, especially today with these things.
Yeah.
Right? It's,
you get a notification, you're like, oh.
Yeah, what's that? Oh, it's crazy, right? I think it
every 2 minutes, it's like...
Yeah, watch.
You tap it away.
We're in a connected world, that which is really difficult to unplug now.
Yeah.
So it's about how you find the tools to manage that.
Okay. What has been the hardest moment in the journey so far for you? We've touched on a few tough points, but what would you say has been the hardest moment in the journey so far?
Hardest journey? There's been a couple, really. I think that moment I've just described there of thinking maybe we would run out of cash, that was one. I think, exiting my business in 2024 was extremely hard. What Telefonica and Virgin Media.
I thought that's the one that you'd say when the merger happened, when Virgin Media kind of bought the stores back as such.
I always thought we'd just carry on, right? Playing the finite game, as Simon Sinek says, play the long game. And I've got an ability to, I think, look at slightly longer term. So, what's the 5 years? I've always got a 5 or 10 year plan. Yeah. It doesn't always work out, and things move and change. Of course, I've got a direction of travel.
Yeah.
And you try and do the same thing for your business. And I think most businesses, again, just my own personal opinion, would suffer from what I would call short-termism.
Okay.
What's next quarter, this financial year. Yeah. They don't really look beyond that. They talk about having a strategy and a vision, but what is it really? And you see a lot of corporates that, go back that big, back that far. How many corporates were saying, oh, yeah, we'll be net zero by 2030? How many businesses are now changing that stat, right? Because they just put something out, and it's not been actually part of the strategy of wanting to do it, whereas when we were doing it, we actually did it. Yeah. Not saying we got to net zero, but we started on that journey to B Corp, and we'd have probably been completed with it if Telefonica hadn't changed the game for us. So that was really hard. And I guess for myself personally, it was probably 2019 was my hardest personal one for my own self. Okay. You could probably tick everything you wanted to have on that list of success conventionally. Yep. I could probably tick, business, brilliant, 21 million turnover, bosh. Yeah. Good net profit, nearly 1.5, 2 million pound net profit.
Ticking all the boxes.
Bosh. Great team, bosh. Personal life was good, but I could literally tick them all. Yeah. But the one thing I couldn't tick was look myself in the mirror and go, are you happy with the reflection that you see?
Really? Right.
So physically, I'd put myself last.
Yep.
Put so much into my family, so much into business. I was looking at it and I was staring down the barrel of a gun, 22 stone 10, massively unhappy with the reflection I saw.
I think a lot of business owners do that, though, don't they? They put themselves last.
You just forget about it.
Life is so busy.
And honestly, no matter how many times people say, the air stewardess and the air steward, Danny, put your oxygen mask on first. Yeah. We listen to it, but we don't do it. Yeah. I think people are getting better at it today as fitness becomes more prominent. Yeah. I was probably the most miserable with myself, if I'm being honest with you, and that's where 2020 I took the view and I started training and changing my own appearance so I could respect myself better when I looked.
Yeah, when you looked in the mirror, you was more happy with where you were.
Still not there yet, but I'm nearly 5 stone down, but still got a long way to go.
Okay. Failures and lessons. What mistake would you say you did quite early on that you'd never repeat?
I let my ego to continue in the ring with me.
Okay.
So my ego was carried around with me. I thought, when you're a senior leader, whether an area manager, division manager, you think you've kind of made it and you become not invincible, but
look at me,
I'm the boss, and you probably don't really understand what management leadership is because half the time you're not really ready. I was sort of ready with some of the skills. I had a great mentor back then. He's still a good friend today. Ashley Farmer. He's the chief exec for the Cambridge 1-to-1. Great guy. One of the best pieces of advice he gave me which is I still do today. I remember back then it was CDs, right?
Yeah.
He gave me this like 8, I think it was 6 or 8 CDs. Listen to this in the car. It was Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah, okay.
And I still listen to that. It's my most listened to self-development audio material. I've got streams of
really?
audio.
Right, okay.
But it's my most listened to one now because it helps you think about, one of the habits is begin with the end in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying, in the book and in the CDs, he's like, what do you want people to say at your funeral?
Yeah.
I don't want to get that depressing.
Yeah,
Dean,
don't want to get that deep.
Do you remember when you were younger, you might have watched This Is Your Life?
Yes,
with a book.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I sat in that chair, what would I want my life to read?
Yeah.
And I started to think about that, probably about 25, 26, start thinking about that a bit differently. And that was because of the self-development from Stephen Covey.
I'd love to go on a show like that.
It'd be cool, right?
Just to look back and be like, because it makes you realise like what you have achieved. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I think as business owners, we achieve something and we move on to the next task.
Absolutely, Dean. Both my 40th and my 39th and my 40th birthday were in lockdown, and I was grateful.
Yeah, well...
Didn't want to celebrate them.
Well, I've just turned 41, but I say I've turned 39 because I missed 2 birthdays because of lockdown. But yeah, I'm staying with the 39 age.
I didn't want to celebrate. My wife was going to throw me a big party and do all these things.
That's funny you say that because I said to Katie, like, I don't want to celebrate my 40th. It's nothing to celebrate.
Because I knew, even though people around me can go, "Oh my God, he's silly. You've achieved so much."
Yeah.
In my head, because we keep pushing for that next mountain.
Yeah.
And I wasn't where I personally wanted to be.
Yeah.
Other people's perception.
See, I'm like that.
Cool, but yeah, I was like, I'm not ready to celebrate 40 because I've not got out of my first years of life what I wanted.
Yeah.
I'm not a million miles away from it, but
you're not quite where you wanted to be. Yeah.
So I didn't want to celebrate it. Will I view my 50s differently? Maybe. But the thing is I didn't enjoy my 40s, so I thought to myself, well, I've got 10 years to change that.
Yeah.
So 45 this year, so I've got 5 years left to influence and change that story, to open that book.
Yeah.
This is your life.
Yeah.
50-year-old. Is it going to read how I want it to? That's up to me.
We need to throw a big party, mate, for your 50th now.
Well, we'll see.
In my eyes, you've achieved a lot. Progress over perfection. Obviously, podcast name. What does progress, not perfection, mean to you personally?
Perfection doesn't exist, Dean. It just doesn't exist.
I agree.
It doesn't exist. And anybody tells me that it does, they're lying.
Yeah.
Because
nothing's perfect. Nothing.
It can't be. Do I'd never... It's really hard. It sounds really mean, this, isn't it? But I'd never score somebody a 10 out of 10.
No, I wouldn't.
I'd give you a 9.5, 9.6.
I want to go above a 9.5, mate.
we can always improve.
Always improve, yeah.
I'll give you a great example. Like when we're younger, we go, I really want this, whether it's a house, a car, a watch, a bag, a dress, whatever it is, right? When you've got it, you move on to the next.
The next thing.
Okay, well, I've got my Gucci handbag, I've got whatever, I've got
and I want my Prada one.
Yeah. And then, when you get into cars or whatever it might be, you know, what lads are into cars.
I've got my Ford Fiesta and I want my Corsa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You kept pushing it. And my son's been the same. He had his first car, he's 21, he's had 3 cars since he passed his test. He got his Honda Civic, love it. Then he had his Ford Fiesta ST, loved it. Now he's in an A class, loved it, but he's only had it 18 months, and now he's looking at like, I want this car, Dad. Like, but I get it. So I think
everyone is that. Everyone has that. It's like you get a 2-bedroom house, you now want a 3-bedroom, a semi. You know, instead of a 2-bed terrace, you want a 3-bed semi next.
But you've got to be able to put it in, right? Some people want stuff but don't want to put the effort in for it. I think you've got to be able to the hard stuff to acquire is hard to acquire for a reason. It's because it's going to be hard to acquire it, right? If it was easy, we'd all be walking around and living on an island next to Richard Branson,
100%.
Sailing our yachts, whatever else we'd be doing.
With jet skis.
Whatever else. So it's not life designed to be pretty hard.
Yep.
As human beings, we need a certain level of stress and pressure. I think it's part of the human body. We need it. An aeroplane's designed to fly, right? If you keep it on the tarmac, it'll rust and go faulty quicker than what it will when it flies.
Yep.
As human beings, we need that level of stress and pressure. I think it's good stress and good pressure to keep us in the game, to keep creating, keep solving problems and find solutions for stuff. And that's the same in business as what it is for life. So I think perfection doesn't exist. Progress for me is really important. Whether it's slow progress or fast progress, progress is good.
Okay.
And sometimes progress can be failing, right? Because you can't have any success without any failure. You've got to make a lot of mistakes to have some failure.
And what's your saying for fail?
First attempt in learning.
First attempt in learning.
And I think you've got to have that. But at the same time, you've got to be brave enough and I guess figure out. Definitely took in my late 20s to figure this one out. Stop worrying about what other people think.
Massive
they
one.
don't care
That's a massive
what you're doing as much as what you think. The other thing business teaches you is who your real friends are.
100%.
And who your real acquaintances are, right? Because when people fail, everyone wants you to do well, Dean, but just not better
than them. Yeah, 100%.
That's always been my motto. So that's why
100%.
You keep yourself. And my personal life, I try and keep it out of the limelight as much as possible. Yeah. There's a famous saying that the wealth whispers, right? People that shout about having money haven't really got money because
credit card millionaires.
The wealthy people don't. And you have to get into them circles.
Keep quiet.
You have to get into them circles and trust and learn lots of things. And there's lots of experience and
knowledge. It's like Mark Zuckerberg, prime example, isn't it? Like he always wears the same T-shirt every day, and he said it's because of convenience and ease. He doesn't spend 30 minutes of his day wasted thinking, what am I going to wear today?
Will you open my wardrobe, Dean? It's
white shirts. Yeah, I know it is.
White shirts and jeans and pants.
Yeah, mine's jeans and jumper, mate, every day of the week.
I don't think about it. If you go and ask my team, what would Danny have for his dinner? They'll tell you, go and get a meal deal. It's either a chicken sandwich with this, or it's a tuna pasta.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, right? Because decision-making fatigue happens. Yeah. So we've got to make so many decisions. I mean, just go and order a cup of coffee today in the shop, right?
Oh, mate.
8 decisions.
Yeah, I know.
And you're staying in, you're taking away. Do you want to try a Colombian beer?
Yeah. It's like the coffee machine. So many different options.
Oh, my God. The decisions we have to make in life and we don't realise. Before we even got to the office,
chocolate sprinkles, cream, marshmallow. Oh, my. I just want a hot chocolate, mate.
Yeah. Are there any allergies? And I get that. You're going to ask for allergies. Staying in, taking away. What kind of milk do you want? Do you want latte? Do you want to try our Mexican Colombian bean?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know, I'm like...
Yeah.
I just want a latte.
Yeah.
I don't have any allergies, so I'm pretty good.
The Spanish one, Argentinian one, I
want to stay in. Can I just get a latte, please? Yeah, no problems. And what is that just anything else you want today? No, I'm good, thank you. And what name is it? And, oh my God. Inside leg measurement. Yeah. You have to make 1,000 decisions. That's when we've just, if we've got a chance to get to a coffee shop, right? As a parent, the decisions you make.
Yeah.
Time we're going to get, there's loads we're making. Right? So I try and think about, in business and in our busier lives, what can I do to take as many decisions out of my day as possible?
Yep.
I don't want to wake up in the morning and go, what am I wearing today? Dead simple. Jeans, white shirt, off I go.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
What am I having for my dinner today? Dead simple.
Chicken meal deal,
right? Or whatever I'm out. Or if I'm at a lunch meeting, whatever lunch is going to come.
Yeah.
So them things are already out of my head.
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to make progress, or if you're, depending on how busy you want to be and how much you want to achieve, you've got to be guarded and more precious with what you say yes to.
Yeah.
Because you've got less time. Because there's more people and more things demanding of your time, and you've got more decisions to make. Which means if I'm making lots of decisions on silly things, I'm going to get what I would call decision-making fatigue.
Yeah.
So when I need to make the big decisions, I'm overwhelmed.
Your brain's gone. Yeah.
So I try and get some of the big stuff done in the morning. There's a classic scenario in Eat the Frog.
Yes.
Get the big stuff done in the morning.
Yeah.
And I just focus on doing those things. And I think, am I closer to my goal this week than I was last week? Yeah, brilliant. If I'm not, I think to myself, what have I learned?
Yeah.
I might not be closer to my goal, but because I failed a lot that week.
Yeah.
But I've learned a lot, so therefore I've made progress.
Yeah, 100%.
So that for me is still where progress is really key. And don't ever underestimate the power of progress, because remember, water doesn't boil at 99 degrees, it boils at 100.
Yeah.
At 1 degree makes a difference. So actually, when you get down to it and you start running businesses, and if you're a bit of that's seeking that journey of continuous progression, I always think it's going to be the small inches. The success sometimes isn't in the big obvious thing. That's going to, oh my God, look at that customer.
So small,
you were talking before about
the small stuff
and different types of margins and working with the right type of clients. The success is in the small stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all around us, right?
Yeah.
If I could start, if I went walking every day for 30 minutes, just 30 minutes, I'm going to be better next week and better the week after. Not change anything, I'll just keep walking.
Yeah. I always say if you sweat that small stuff, the big stuff takes care of itself in a way.
Yeah, it's like the pennies in the pounds, right?
Yeah.
Take care of the pennies in the pounds, take care of themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
It's interesting you said, though, about not overthinking what people think.
I used to think that. Honestly,
how do you avoid
massive...
that now then? Because obviously that's... I mean, I do it. I let myself I overthink about what people think, or will people like this, or what if I've worded this wrong, or what will people think if I launch such a product? It's massive, isn't it? How do you avoid that?
Well, I asked the question the way around, right?
Go for it.
If everybody disagreed with it, would you still want to do it if it was important to you?
Yeah.
So what's it matter then?
It doesn't.
So, and that's the way I get to it. Because I think what we think is, because we live a life potentially on social media.
Yes.
if I think about the people that are liking and following, all right, the worst thing that can happen is somebody's going to say something nasty to me.
Yeah.
Sticks and stones, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get if there's a lot of it, I guess that could affect different people.
Yeah.
But I think one of the superpowers that we can all learn is when you stop caring or caring as much about what other people think, and more so the ones that probably maybe would be the first to critique you, right? Because when you started business and stuff, and when I took the job, right, paying wages on credit cards, most people were like, what are you doing, mate? The company can go bankrupt.
Yeah.
But I believed in myself and I believed in the team. And if nobody believes in something, then nothing ever changes, right? One man's rubbish is another man's gold. Yeah. So somebody, that job wasn't great, but to me, that was a challenge. Yeah. I knew I couldn't fail because I took the job in the August 2009. We got married on the 26th of September 2009.
Jeez, right.
And we were supposed to go on our honeymoon for 2 weeks. That would have been the first time we ever went away without my little boy, without my eldest name, Brad.
Right.
And I said to my wife when we took the gig, she'll shoot me for this, but she knows the story. I've said it publicly before. So I said to her, look, I really want to make this work. It's a real opportunity. The business is in a tough position.
Yep.
I want to cancel the trip to Greece and I'll change our honeymoon. Yeah, I'll change our honeymoon around. Yeah. But I promise you, if you back me on this time, I will work so hard, this thing won't fail, and this will change everyone's life, ours and the people involved in the business. And I think that's another important lesson for me, is find yourself a really good life partner, because
100%.
My wife backed me from 17. We've been together, I was 17, she was 16. Yep. We've been together ever since. I've got 2 beautiful children with her. Yep. She's the most amazing and inspiring lady, and she allowed me to do that, and we ended up our honeymoon was a week in a caravan in Presthaven, Sandsdean.
Yep.
And again,
but you have a good team though.
And thank you.
Like, I've met your whole family several times.
Thank you, mate. It's really kind of you. And nobody knows them things. Them are the sacrifices for success. You cannot have any level of success without a sacrifice. Yeah. And every level further you want to push your success, you have to sacrifice something else. Yep. Whether that's time away from your family, whether that's time away from things that are important to you, time away from your hobbies. Every next step you take on that success ladder, you are sacrificing something else, and life's a trade. To some people, they won't want to trade that, and I've always made sure that the definite one thing I was never ever trading in all of my life, and could I have pushed me further, could I have made more money, could I have been more successful? Yes, but I always said, I don't ever want to be in a position where my wife and my kids are for sale, and neither is the time that I spend with them. I've made every single, 99% of them, parents' evenings, sports days, all the important parts of my kids I've showed up.
Yeah, that's a positive thing of being the boss, isn't it, as such? You have that little bit more leeway with times. Obviously, the world has changed now, because obviously working from home and hybrid, there is a lot more flexibility. Yeah. But I know when I used to work at other places, stuff like that was impossible to get half a day off, to go and watch sports day and stuff. Times have changed, haven't they, massively?
Yeah, of course they have. And I think you just have to plan things differently. I think in the earlier years when my son was, my eldest son was born when I was 21. And I always think, being a dad was the most amazing thing. It's the best gift life can give me. And my kids will always be my proudest achievement, right? Yeah. I remember walking to the hospital with my wife when my son was being born. And when he was born, walked in out, and it's almost like the sky was a different colour. The world just instantly looked completely different. And that was the day. And
then reality hits, and you think, what do we do now?
Everything I do is now.
We've got a baby to care for.
I've got a life that depends on me. Yeah. And I've got to show up. And being in them relationships with your partners, it's about give and take.
Yeah, 100%.
Neither partner are going to be perfect, but you shape each other. Yeah. Sometimes
you're not going to always agree on the same thing.
As men, we've got to know when to put the ego away, because sometimes our ego and stubbornness comes out with our partners, right? And certainly managed to do with my wife. But I think even at 28, before I took the job, and as I was taking the job at mid, I wasn't probably a very nice person in some degrees. And I remember my wife saying, "You've forgotten where you've come from. Right, you forget who you are. I don't know who you're becoming. Yeah. But you need to give yourself an hard shakedown and sort it out, because otherwise I don't want to stick around this person." Yeah. And that was a really hard conversation for me. Wake up call. But it was a very big reality check. Yeah. And that's what I'm grateful for my wife for, because she's never let my feet get too far off the ground. Yeah. Make sure that kept you grounded. Keep me really humble. Keep me really focused on the right things. And that's what I mean by having a really great life partner. The real friends of mine are the ones that will tell me the truth, no matter how hard it is to hear. Yeah. Because a lot of people around you tell you the things that you want to hear. Yeah. And that's what I started to create that with my wife in my own boardroom. Yeah. I've got this piece of work. I might release it one day. My wife says I should release it, but she's always going to say that. It's called, Parenting into Leadership.
All right, okay.
That's the title of it. And it's all the lessons of leadership that I've learned from being a dad. Yeah, yeah. And when you look at your house, the culture that changes in your house, right? So as you're growing up, you create a different environment for your kids, don't you?
Yeah, totally.
You go from, dependent, interdependent, to making them dependent, right?
Yeah.
So much so, you're coaching your kids to go through life on their own,
yep.
in some degree, right? So we spend our time coaching, and I think, I've watched my wife, because she was definitely better at it than me, teach my kids how to use a knife and fork, how to shoelaces, do all these things, and I've taught my kids different things, and that's the different skill sets between the two, right? And then I think to myself, why can't I take what we do with kids into the work?
Mm.
And I think, I'm not saying treat your team members like your kid.
No, I know what you mean.
But treat them like that's your work family, right?
Yeah.
And you've got to work in a position where if I've got their back and they've got my back, and your team needs to know that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really difficult to demonstrate that as a leader, because you only get to really show it when times get hard. I remember when COVID was happening, I made the decision to shut our shops and pay our staff. And I set it down on the Teams call, and we shut the shop. And that was on the day before the government made the decision. Right? I remember getting a call from my business partner. Honestly, he was, I don't even know what words he was using on the phone. What have you done? Paying the staff, this is going to cost us. This is going to really hurt the business. I was like, I'll believe a way. I'm going to find out. But that's what my staff wanted me, because when the other side of this happens, I'm going to need that team to help this business pull back. So I'll stand by them now and hope that most of them, not all of them, but most of them are going to stand by me. And those small things are the big things that make the big difference. And luckily, thanks a lot, Rishi Sunak came out and put the furlough scheme in. I was like, he saved my life massively, right? But I remember, as an example, being an authentic leader. And these are just moments where you think, I've just done the right thing, I've been firm, reasonable. The amount of things I've done for my staff that some people will never ever know, because I don't do them for recognition. I do it because it's the right thing to do. And there's a million things, right? Whether it's paying for staff driving lessons that wouldn't have had a career and whatever else until we paid for the driving lessons so they could have a company car. Loads. And I remember last year, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, and it got me, right? So if I get caught here and I get a bit emotional, I apologise, right? But I was coming back last year from holiday, me and my wife, and every year since her dad passed away, we try and take him away. It was me, my wife, my little boy, a mum, and for this year, a brother had come away. So the plane on the way back was pretty empty. So my wife's like, look, he wants to play with you and lie on you and maybe have a sleep with you. So giving you some extra space, I'm going to go and sit with my brother at the front of the plane.
Fair enough,
So that's cool. No, there's both a bit more space. So she went down. And anyway, on the way up, when it's steward time, right? They drinks and stuff. The air steward kept looking at me and thinking, have I done something wrong here? Or is there something that I don't know? Like, why does he keep looking at me? It made me feel uncomfortable. Right? I got a bit nervous. I was like, oh my God, that's good. Anyways, he got close to me. He said, are you Danny Simpson? I said, yeah. He said, you don't recognise me, do you? I said, no, shut up. I think he said, I used to work for you 7 years ago. He said, you changed my life. I said, really?
I think that's what we all want, innit? To have that.
He said, I used to work in your Preston Deepdale store. And if he's listening, he'll know who he is. He said, I used to work in your Preston Deepdale store. He said, and I was grateful because I was struggling to get the job initially, and you gave me the chance. You coached me and found out that I actually wanted to be an air steward, and you helped and coached me fill the application. And I originally went and left 2 years later for you to go and work for Virgin. I didn't like the job, and now I'm here on EasyJet, and I love my job, and I love what I'm doing. He said, you looked after me, and on this flight, I'm looking after you, and you will not pay for anything on this flight. I'm going to look after you like you look after me. And it's a small way of how I can repay you, if that makes sense.
But that's what we all want, innit? As a leader.
Yeah, my wife's like, look, this is another one. When are you going to wake up and smell the coffee and go and know that you've been a really great leader? Because I want to really aspire to be one of them top 1% leaders. And until that was a small part for me that said, I've got a glimmer of it. And a lot of people will say a lot of nice things about me, which is really nice. And I appreciate that. And thank you. And hopefully they write some nice comments. But,
plenty of comments and shares.
but at the same time, I'm still going to push myself because I think I can be better and better for myself, for my family, and I can turn up better for my team, the teams that I represent. And I think we've got to recognise as individuals, we're always going to be a character, one of three characters in everything. We're either going to be the hero, the villain, or the victim. And we have to make sure, because in every story there's one. And parts of being a leader, sometimes you've got to make the tough decisions that are unpopular. So at times I'm going to be the villain. And that's all right. That's how
it's not nice, but
it's how they react into the situation. Because life's not about what happens to us, it's about how we respond to the situations, what gives us, right? That's what chooses our character. So I've learned better to deal with that, managing my own emotional state, which I've learned a massive amount from my wife. Women are great at being emotionally intelligent. Men have to learn at becoming emotionally intelligent.
We're not good at it, are we?
I don't think naturally we are.
We're not good at it.
Better than that. And that's for me where I've been a huge advocate for champion females in leadership, boardrooms, and developing women in business. And I know you are as well, because you've got a high female
ours
team
turned on our head during COVID. We were predominantly male.
And
COVID flipped it, which was weird, and I still don't understand why. COVID flipped it, and we're predominantly female now, which is great, especially in the tech sector. But going back to your story of like not as good as the EasyJet one we do, but like some of the girls joke around upstairs, obviously, when they're doing TikToks and stuff like that. Again, the new current trend, isn't it? I don't get involved with it. But
be on it, Dean.
I know I will be one day. But they always say, it's like one of those questions that pop up, and they say, if you got arrested, who would you ring? And it's nice that some of them up there go, I'd ring Dean. Like, I'd ring Dean, like, to bail me out. And I'm like, thanks.
And that's a really nice quality.
But it's nice to hear it.
It's a really nice quality. And I think that's partly because what you've done there, and I say them moments there are the deep and meaningful relationships, right? And that's the Michael Parkinson. This is your life, right?
Yeah.
Because the other part of that is who turns up. Yeah. And here is such a person from when you were at school, right?
You're like,
and I'd think to myself, I want the book to read nice, and I want a stage full of people.
Yeah.
And if it's at my funeral where you begin with the end in mind and the end is, I don't want to be the richest person in the graveyard. And I definitely don't want to be the most knowledgeable person in the graveyard, right? Because I want to share my knowledge 100%, and I want to learn stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'd love at my funeral for a load of people to turn up, because it's about my kids there.
Yeah.
And turn around and say, you know what? Your old man was an all right dude. He helped me out a little bit. What a nice guy.
That's all we want.
Yeah. And he really helped me become a slightly better person. He helped me in life.
Yeah.
And if they can say that while they're eating the odd sausage roll and vol au vent and whatever else is at my funeral, what my kids put on, I'm good, because all I want my kids to know is that my dad, their dad was a good dude.
Yeah.
Worked hard, tried hard, and helped everybody try to unlock and
had a good impact on other people's lives.
Yeah, their untapped potential. That's what it is. Everyone's got a lesson. Everyone's got a superpower. But I think the world is so quick to judge today. We can learn so much from so many people. Honestly, I love people. And I love sitting with people that are more older than me, got more wisdom, they've got more experience, life lessons. I just think, my God, there's so much to learn from life. And yet sometimes we just settle and become ignorant. And, it's like...
I asked my dad the other day for, like, obviously now every photo is on phones, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's got loads of tins, like Grandma and Granddad used to have, with the actual pictures that you used to go and get processed and printed.
Yeah.
And he brought 3 tins.
Amazing.
And I've gone through them all, and like, it's great, and you think, oh my God, I didn't even know that, like, I did that with my grandma back then. And it's nice to look at that back then, because you think, oh my God, look at what my dad used to look like.
Yeah, but I think, it's a really great point, Dean, because I think historically we used to live in the moment more.
Yeah.
In my early days, I had a great career being a DJ. I've DJed at some great places with some great opportunities, right? London's White Label Spinners, Head Candy. I was part of a great time, right?
Yeah.
And I loved playing clubs in the UK and abroad. And I did it to a fairly decent standard.
Yeah.
I was no David Guetta otherwise. Right? But
I should be in a beefer right now.
Absolutely, right? But the reason why I stopped is because people started to, the phone industry was coming in and it was taking over. And like now you look at people going to clubs and they're like, they've got the phones out, filming stuff. And
it's all about
concerts,
the laser shows and...
Yeah, concerts, they've got the films out. And I just think to myself, you're missing out.
Making us sound
old.
And
I've been guilty, right? Because I think to myself, when I've made videos, when I've watched Take That or whoever I've seen, right?
That's a bad example.
I love Take That. They put a good show on.
All right, then.
And I like it, right? Guilty pleasure.
Yeah, we're all allowed.
I think to myself, I've never watched it back. I've never watched them videos back. And the person I've sent it to, why would they care that I'm at Take That? They go, oh, right, Danny's at Take That. That's great.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
They don't care. And I've never watched it back. So I've just learned over time.
I'm like that.
Try and be in the moment more. Try and spend your time with people who don't make you check your phone.
Yeah.
Me and my wife, we'll go on date nights. I'll try and make Friday night for me and my wife.
Yeah.
And we can go for a bite to eat. Yeah. And we can sit down. And I'm not saying we don't check our phones.
Yeah.
It'd be stupid. I'd be lying.
Yeah,
just for the camera.
Yeah.
But I look around and, people like take a picture of the food, put Instagram, the phone with the mates. And I said to him, let's play the game of who do we think's on the
first day. It's all about getting it on the gram, mate. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I just think we're missing out so much about just being present in that moment.
Yeah.
And just putting our connected device down.
Yeah.
What I would call our life's remote control.
Yeah.
putting it down and being in the moment with the person.
Well, Harry Styles has recently done that concert, hasn't he? Well, they all had to put the phones in the lockable pouches.
Really? Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that was at the Co-op Live in Manchester. So they all had to put the phones into a lockable pouch, and they unlock it on the way out of the concert. Obviously, people are going to find ways around it. They're going to take a second phone or an old phone or whatever. But 99% of that audience were in that moment.
Yeah, it's great. Well done, Harry Styles.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And obviously, most schools are doing it, aren't they, now with these pouches?
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it is a massive positive to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's some...
Like you said, live in that moment.
Yeah, live in the moment, man. Like I said, spend time with people that make you not want to check your phone.
Yeah.
That's my wife.
Doom scrolling.
Oh man, honestly, I'm not big on it. I don't want, people come up to me, have you seen that?
I'm not gonna lie, because of the camera, I'm really bad on LinkedIn.
Are you?
Yeah, mate.
I'll use LinkedIn.
Yeah, but I'll search for hours on it for certain things.
I don't really post much on the other social channels.
Yeah,
I think I've just got a presence there because
Yeah.
I feel like I need to. Probably social pressure, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think to myself, I just want to try and spend more time being in the moment. And actually, I genuinely love what I do. So if I'm not physically doing my job, I'm learning how to do my job better. So I'll watch YouTube videos, I'll watch podcasts, I'll listen to audible books, constantly wanting to try and do different things. Because I think what we do is, and maybe if anybody's listening that's guilty of this, is we'll listen to really good podcasts, maybe like this one and maybe like others, or you listen to an audible book and you think, oh, that's really interesting. We never go away and try it because we get scared of failing, or we get scared of what other people might think and go, hang on a minute, who are you? You didn't do that yesterday.
So this is one of the things why it took me so long to get this up and going, because I was scared of what people might think. Yeah, I was scared of what people might think, and like, am I going to get keyboard warriors, haters?
You might do.
But I might do, but I'm just not going to look at it. Do you know what I mean?
I've seen me criticised for trying and failing and being criticised for not trying at all.
Good point.
That's always been my life. Yeah. I want to sit in my rocking chair at 17 and go, I
did what I wanted to do.
I tried it all. I tried the majority of stuff, failed at some, successful at others, but I'm glad I tried what I tried. I don't want to sit there at 17 and go, I wish I'd have done that. Yeah. We get one shot here, one deal. You can't go up to the Golden Arches or wherever it is that whatever people believe, but you can't do that afterwards and go, can I just have another week on Earth? Yeah. It doesn't happen. One shot, one deal, and we're all wanting something really exclusive. You are the most exclusive thing that you will ever own is you. Yeah. There's only one Dean. There's only one that you own. I want more than one. Yeah. But there's only one of us, right? Yeah. So why would you not want to make yourself the best version of yourself? Mm-hmm. Spend time becoming that person that you want to be. Yeah. I always try and think, what would 30-year-old Danny want 40-year-old Danny to be? I'm always thinking now, what does 50-year-old Danny look like? Yeah. When I'm 50, I probably think, what does 55-year-old Danny? Is that the person I want to look up to? Yeah. I think we'll lose sight of that. How should I act? I remember going to schools and talking to young people and trying to inspire them to look up and lift aspirations, because sometimes I think we lower aspirations or the environments and situations. Yeah. And sometimes the question is I don't know what's right to post on social media. Yeah. And my answer's always been the same as the way my service message is. If you're going to write something on social media and your nanny, your granddad might say, be offended by it, don't write it.
Don't do it, yeah.
And that's the best methodology I've always tried to take. I always think every day I'm on film. Someone's filming me, someone's recording me, which in today's world they are. Right? Everyone's a news recorder today. Yeah. It's a crazy world. There's an earthquake happening, a tidal wave.
And people are filming it.
Somebody stood there with a phone going, this is totally amazing. I'm going to potentially risk my life for a few views and likes on TikTok or on social media. It's mental. It's and that's not for me to say whether that's right or wrong. Yeah. That's their definition of success. Yeah. So good luck to them. But I think, it's such a crazy situation. And I just think, people say, I'm just waiting for that right time. It's not the right time now. The right time's already passed. Yeah. There's never a right time. There's never a perfect moment. No. It's already been and gone. The ones that are listening, that are thinking about starting something, just go and take the first step. Put the first brick down and start. And if it fails, so what? Yeah. What?
Good advice.
People are going to criticise you. People will criticise. Everyone was... What are you doing that for? You're mad. You took a job you're paying wages on credit cards and the business could fail. But then when it worked, Dean, they always go, I knew he'd make it. I was like, hang on a minute. Yeah. Like 5 years ago, you were like, what are you doing? You're off your head. Why are you doing it? It'll fail. That'll never work. Wow, you backed the wrong horse there. Yeah. You got to back yourself. Yeah. You are more than good. Anybody listening to that, you are more than good enough. You are ready already. Just start.
You just got to start.
Be humble. Keep yourself hungry.
Yep.
Keep yourself wanting to be sharp as a tack. That's the last part of Stephen Covey, is sharpen the saw.
All right, okay.
Learn something, right? So he walks through the forest, there's a guy chopping a tree down.
Yeah.
He's proper blunt axe, he's been there weeks chopping this tree down. He says to the guy, why don't you stop and sharpen your saw? He said, I can't, I'm busy chopping. Do you know, it's that scenario, right?
Yeah.
So AI's here today. It's going to put people out of work. It might do, but I think it will probably create more opportunity than it takes.
I mean, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, everyone was saying laptops and PCs are not going to be bought because everything's going in the cloud. Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? AI's here. I don't see it having. Obviously, it can do some jobs, but I don't see it having as massive an impact as what people are saying.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I think
it's not perfect. It's nowhere near yet.
It's a great enabler. I think it's been massively overhyped.
Yeah.
AI's been around for lots of years.
Yeah.
The generation that's here now is great, the version of it, and it's getting better and stronger. Right? I think we don't even scratch the surface of what AI's capability is. No. But I think there's a lot of underwhelmment with it because they put it in the business and go, oh, it's not done well. It's a bit like buying the latest iPhone. I've said to people for years, why do you want the latest one? Because it's just the latest one.
Yeah.
Have to be. Because again, it comes back to that. How many people have bought it because it was the right thing to buy and invest in the business versus just want to sit down in the pub with my mates and say, I've got AI in my business. It's a social status thing that
I've got the latest and greatest.
I'm in the AI world. So I think everybody wants to get on the AI hype, but it's the same with everything. I'd say to myself, only adopt the technology if it's right to adopt anyway. If you need it and you think it's going to help you, do it. Don't just do it because it's a fad or a cool.
100%.
Otherwise, we start to move into that other direction of, Lamborghinis are nice supercars, whatever. I'd always say, well, they're nicer to look at than they are to drive.
Yeah.
Have you ever driven one around
England? Three Sisters in Wigan.
They're not nice to drive on the roads, and they're the most uncomfortable cars to get into.
It's image.
My view's always been, if you get out of a car like that, people go, oh, that's a really nice car. I don't care about you.
Yeah,
your car's
it's a
nice.
car,
I always wanted to be the other way around, which was, losing that car.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do a car, do it the other way around.
Yeah.
But do it because I'd soon have a car that I'm comfortable in.
Yeah.
Because I spend a lot of time. I call it my mobile office.
Yeah.
We're in it a lot.
I know.
So I've always bought cars based on what comfortability is.
Yeah.
And again, it's interesting perceptions in it. A quick one. I remember when I bought a couple of years ago, 2017, I think it was 2018. Bought a Volvo XC90, right?
All right. Yeah. Like the 4x4 SUV types. Yeah.
Loved it, right? The Thor hammer lighting was marvellous. I was like, I'm sold on the lighting. The guy said, it's Thor hammer lighting. I was like, I'm sold, mate. I'll take one. And I remember the day I went to pick it up, I took my eldest son and we went to pick the car up. And the guy said to me as he pulled the thing off in the Stockport garage, he said, there's a present on the seat of your business partner. All right, no. So I went round and it was a flat cap and a pair of jeans with a crease ironed in them.
Really?
And he said, to Danny, congratulations on your old man car. Here's your old man gear. I was like, how much of a perception is that?
Yeah.
One of the best cars I enjoyed, but I bought it because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I didn't care about the badge on the front.
Yeah.
I bought it because I enjoyed the drive and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it was probably one of the best 4x4s I've had, right?
Yeah.
But it was unconventional. It went against the status. And that's coming back to that point of doing things to please everybody else and doing things that's for me and my family and what's important to me. So stay true to who you are and work on pleasing yourself and enjoy the journey, man, because it's hard, right?
Yeah.
If you get the time 100%. To spend enjoying some of it, enjoy some of it. It's making money is not a dirty word. Sales is not a dirty word.
No.
That's some of the gig we do with Sales Geeks, changing the way the world perceives sales. But sales is not a dirty word.
People panic as well when you say sales, don't they? It's automatic.
It's ethics of sales that's been given a bad name, right?
Yeah.
So, and the way that it's been produced.
Yeah.
We do everything today to make it sound like I'm not selling to you.
Yeah.
And we do everything today to make it sound like I'm not in sales.
Yeah.
Business development manager. I'm an acquisition manager, right?
Yeah.
We don't put sales in any job title, right? But sales is not dirty. The ethics of how it's been done. I think if it's done right, it's just about understanding what problem you're trying to solve, what the outcome you are trying to achieve. If I can help you achieve that outcome, or I've got a product that fixes your problem, that's a sale. Doing conversation. And it's about that journey of conversational piece whilst building a connection.
Yeah, I always say McDonald's is sales, isn't it? It's a sales job. You want to go large. You're upselling.
McDonald's,
it's the easiest upsell in the world.
When they started asking, do you want fries with that, they put £1 billion on their revenue from that one question. And that was a question. They didn't sell you the fries, they just asked you the question. Right? So it's an interesting analogy. And it's the same with the other parts of life, that making money in business, it's not a dirty. That's part of why we go into business, right? Big risk, big reward. No risk, no reward. You've heard the saying, no risk, no glory. So there's always an element of risk, and it's about how much what's our appetite to risk that you want to do? And I think that sometimes puts people off and sometimes put people in. But I think today is really exciting to be alive. I think there's so much opportunity in technology. Yes, I can flip stuff on its head. I hate watching the news. I call it the poison box. And I think they just scare people so much.
Kate is very much again, she won't watch the news whatsoever. No. Like, she's just like, why? It's all negative.
Yeah.
You know.
It's very rare the news comes on and goes, oh, well, we've just seen somebody today complete this deal. Oh, this has just happened, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like sometimes the good news stories, I'm like, wow, you are scraping the good news viral story there. That story, you know. Such a person rescued a dog out of a river. Like, is that the best good news that's happened in the country today? It's great news that's happened.
Yeah.
But does that really make...
No, I know what you mean.
So I think to myself, you know, listen to the news today, or the headline is 5.1% or 5.2, whatever it is, 5.4% of people are unemployed. Employment's growing massively.
Yeah, massively.
It's the highest it's been since 2021. That creates opportunity.
Yep.
So people have come out of jobs, they've been made redundant. It's really difficult to get another job. Pause. What can you do that you've wanted to do, that you've never had the option to do, because your boss was there? Some of the best businesses have been born at home with 20 quid in the pocket.
I did it out in my dad's bedroom when I moved back home. You know what I mean? And now
it's hard.
Yeah, it is hard initially. And, you know, that first month we did 300 and odd quid profit, and I thought, how am I going to survive on this? But then I look back, I'm like, we earned a profit from day one. So it's that perception again, innit? At the time, I was like, I can't survive on 300 quid a month.
And some people will try something and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
At least if you can, I'm not saying everybody has the option to, because financial situations, there's a lot of different things in there, but if you can, be brave and take that step, because I think the way that employment's going to be, if the government says they are, you know, day rights from number one, you're employing people on high salaries and six-figure salaries, it's a big risk when they get employment rights from day one. So is there a world where we're going to move into more fractional services, and businesses are letting people go, not because sometimes they want to, but because they have to because of the P&L and stuff. But if you ask that person who's been let go, if I went back to my old business, if I was good, would they re-employ me fractionally or a part-time basis to do the same job in some capacity for them without the risk?
Yeah.
Probably. I would say there's a large percentage of them that would probably say yes.
Yeah.
But we just don't, because we fall into that victim mindset where you can actually play the next character in your own story, which is you could be your own hero.
Yeah. 100%. Jumping onto mindset.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome. Oh. I get it often.
We all did it.
Do you? Right. Massively, that was a question. Do you get it?
Massively, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
How do you deal with it?
I got it when I came in here, Dean. I've put on doing podcasts for so long because I just felt like it's not my thing. And I was like, oh my God, this is... But as I've always done in many parts of my life, I've gone, do you know what? Maybe it's time. And because it's a friend that's asking, just go and be uncomfortable. Go and do it. So I don't know whether this has been a good episode or bad episode.
I think it's been good.
I think your viewers will tell you differently.
The viewers will tell. The viewers will be the judges, right? Sure. Simon Cowell with his red button. But you know, I said to Jacob this morning, I said, like, he was nervous yesterday about going on this school trip because they were going to like a sister school, you know, to see how they work. It's like different faith, different religion, and they were seeing how it worked. You know, the differences between the two schools, kind of thing. And he was nervous, and I said to him, do you not think I'm nervous for tomorrow? I was like, but you've got to change that nervous energy into a positive.
Well, do you think you were nervous for today?
I was nervous for today, yeah.
Right, interesting. Well, just asking questions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you going to ask the right questions for your audience?
Yeah, exactly. Am I gonna fumble? Obviously, I know it could be edited, but like, am I gonna, you know, say the wrong thing that has to be cut out? And it's things like that where, you know, I was like, the whole public perception is a risky game.
It is,
and I was nervous just in general, you know, because obviously, it's.
I think what gets me through it in situations like this, right, it's a bit easy. This is just my coping mechanism, not everybody else's, right? But I think over time, I used to say, and that's why I connected with Richard, because he has a similar thing in his business, which is building a tribe.
Yeah.
Find your tribe. You know, you've got to frustrate some people to say he's not my cup of tea. That's cool. I'm not here to make sure everyone in the world loves me, right?
Yeah.
There will be some that like me, some that love me, and some that hate me. Yeah. And that's cool. I'm not for everyone, and I know that, and neither is anybody.
No. I'm very Marmite.
If you create your tribe, we are tribal individuals. We want to be part of a tribe, right? So it's interesting, this, right? Because once you've built your tribe, your tribe will love this because it's you,
and
it's a conversation between the two of us, and some of my tribe might appreciate it.
Exactly,
right? So, but there's other people that will watch it and think this is rubbish.
Not for me,
Not for me. That's cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
But if you think about it, it's all about finding more people that are your tribe, because there'll be some people that watch this that doesn't know me or you.
Correct.
That might be from your tribe into mine and my tribe into yours, and then our tribe gets bigger.
Correct.
Because it's like if you sit two people down, one person's Apple, one person's Android.
Yep. Biggest debate of the century.
Right? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? They then, Apple's the best.
Yeah.
No, Android. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not because the phone or the device, they're not super. It's because they're part of that Apple tribe.
Correct.
And they defend it.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that you use that analogy.
Microsoft and Mac, they're just part of a different tribe.
Yeah.
We're already defending it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're all part of a tribe because when we were back in the cave, we wanted to build a tribe to go out and hunt. Now we don't have to kill mammoths and stuff and do that gig. Right?
Yeah.
But and I use that analogy around my own house, right? So if I go somewhere, my wife's like, oh my God, how do you remember where you're going? And honestly, Dean, I'm bad with geography, right?
Oh, are you? See, I'm really good. Katie's a bad one with geography.
I'm good with directions.
Oh, no, Katie's shocking. Turn left, turn right.
If you tell me, like, I'm going to this destination, I'm like, is that down south or up north?
See, no, I'm good with that.
Right, so I struggle with it.
So you and Katie never go anywhere together?
Oh, man. So if
wouldn't get there.
If Rob and Tom, so Rob's one of my right-hand men at Maid, and Tom's my right-hand guy, they would, if they were in this room now, they'd be like, where is sat nav? We have to tell you. But ultimately, once I've been somewhere once, I can remember my way. So my wife always says to me, God, how do you remember that? How do you remember where to go? But then when I'm at home, I'll be like, have you seen my car key? She instantly knows where it is.
Yeah.
Right? Now, they might ask you that silly question of, well, where did you last put it? I don't know. If I knew that, I wouldn't be asking you the question.
Yeah.
But around the house, she knows all that sort of stuff. And I go back to thinking about, when we go back in cave times, the guy was the hunter-gatherer.
Yeah.
And the
we went
women were looking after the cave.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, psychologically, is that the same thing?
Possibly.
The wife knows everything
it's
around
funny
the
you
house.
say that because the other day,
the guy knows.
Like, I'm literally all the time, like, where's my trainers? Where's my jacket? And she'll know. And I'm like, but the other day, there was an example, I was on my phone. I was like, have you seen my phone? She went, it's in your hand. I was like,
dick.
God. I was like, what an idiot.
But,
but she knows where everything is.
Great example, right?
Yeah, car keys, whatever.
Those dudes, we
Yeah.
wouldn't even get out of the house without our wives, would we?
No.
But once we're out of the house, we'd probably be doing
We're
all
fine.
right. Right?
Yeah.
But
I always say, as long as I've got my
help.
phone, my wallet, and my car keys, house keys, I'm fine. I don't need anything else.
And look, in other situations, it might roll reverse, right? The guy might be really good at finding what's in the house, and the woman might be really good outside.
Yeah.
But that's a great example of together. You know, it works, and that's
She's bringing the whole kitchen sink and 6 bags with her on a 10-minute journey. Isn't it?
Oh, massively, mate, and they massively overpack and 2 or 3 outfits. Just in case of change. I'm like, just wear the one you want. You look amazing. And they'll ask you how do I look, and I'll be like, you look really nice.
Yeah. Never say fine. I've learnt that.
You can't say that.
No, I've learnt that.
But I think
you look fine. Well, it's not good enough then. And then we're enough for half an hour while she gets changed.
Yeah, and it's about what they feel comfortable in, right? So, but back to the tribe piece.
Yeah.
We wanted to be part of a tribe. I still think we want to be part of a tribe now. So walking in here today, I was sat in the car, just looking through my notes and stuff before I come in. I was thinking to myself, there's going to be some people where this doesn't apply to them. There might even be some people that maybe not got nice or tasteful things to say about it. And that's cool, right?
Yeah.
You're welcome. It is what it is. But at the same time, the tribe will be the tribe. The people that know me will hopefully enjoy listening to some of this.
Yeah.
People that know you will enjoy listening to it.
Yeah.
So it's your tribe, right?
Yeah.
You're finding more of your tribe by putting this.
We'll win at the end of the day. So yeah. Okay. Some rapid fire questions before we go into the closing question. You've already covered it a little bit, but best business advice you've ever received?
Oh my goodness. There is so many. Best business advice I've ever received. Never stop working on yourself.
Okay. Worst business advice you've ever heard?
Worst business advice I've ever heard? Oh my God, that's such a good question. Lots. The worst advice I often get is by people that are trying to advise me on something that they've never done before, they've never been there.
Good answer.
That probably helps.
Yeah.
So start listening to ask people
that have been
find
there.
people that are further in life than you, and ask them questions or advice, and take advice off others. With pinches of salt in a more cautious manner.
Okay. A book every entrepreneur should read.
Wow, there is loads. God. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Dale Carnegie, How to Make Friends and Influence People. Start With Your Why, Simon Sinek. Finite Game, Simon Sinek. Oh, Stephen Sylvester, Detox Your Ego.
All right, okay, I've not heard of that.
Really good.
Okay.
Really good.
Okay.
And that was given to me to read by one of my mentors because he's one of the people that's referenced in the book.
Okay.
And when I read it, because he suffered from the same thing.
He's on commission.
Probably. But, I read the book and it was it's very good.
Okay. A habit that has improved your success.
A habit that's improved my success. Work on my self-discipline and structure.
Okay. One thing you wish you knew earlier.
Oh man, that's easy. From a business perspective, don't make sure you're investing in your wealth as well as the wealth of the business. I took too long to do that. I was working to my point, put everything else first, the business, the people in it. And when you start to realise you're generating your actual long-term wealth, we do things for the short term in that instance. So my own advice would be, once you get into a place where your business is doing well, and you can start to make those decisions, start to understand what you can do
for the future
to generate your wealth for future.
Okay.
Because there's no point doing everything and then you're not around to enjoy it. You're not around to have that wealth. So many times I've sat and spoke to people where they save money for your kids, and then your kids become successful, so you don't need it, and you're like, I'm still saving money. It's like, well, what for? Enjoy it. Or invest it into different things.
100%. Okay, closing question. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, you might have just answered this, when starting your business, what would it be?
Be careful who you surround yourself with.
Okay, interesting. No worries, right, well, thanks for coming on, Danny. If you enjoyed the conversation, please make sure to subscribe and share the episode with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, success isn't about perfection, it's about progress.
Thank you, Dean.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.